Never get winded again by deer. If you watch this video all the way to the end, you'll learn how to set up accordingly with a tree saddle or a tree stand so that when the deer are coming into your set, they will not smell you. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to alert deer on your entrance or exit. They will smell your scent when crossing your path, your entry trails and your exit trails to and from these stand sites. The deer in the area might smell your scent when they cross your path. I'm not saying that that won't happen. I'm not saying that you won't alert deer by maybe being too loud up in the stand or in your saddle. Maybe you fidgeted and moved too much, or you made some noise that caused the deer to look up and spot you. I'm not saying that you're not going to bust deer that way, but I am saying that if you follow what I'm going to share with you in this video right to a T, deer will not wind you. They're not going to bust you by scent, by smelling you. So never get scented or winded again by deer by using these two killer tree stand or saddle hunting setups. But obviously you've got to be aware of that you could alert deer on your entrance in or your exit. So, but that's a whole nother video, whole nother topic for another day, and a whole nother 10 to 15 minute long spiel of me talking and explaining how to not bust deer, not alert deer on your entrance and your exits to these killer stand setups. That's a whole nother video. In this video, I'm going to share with you two awesome setups where deer will not wind you. That here has to do a lot with thermals. Now, I must say here, I do have to tell you that if you listen to a lot to Dr. Grant Woods and his colleagues, or if you listen to a lot of podcasts from like the Southern Outdoorsman podcast, and watching videos from deer and deer hunting, or listen to the deer and deer hunting podcast, they have guests like Dr. Grant Woods, who's a scientist, biologist, who's studied deer for eons, and there's other scientists, biologists, guests that have been on these podcasts that will tell you, if you do your research, you'll find out that it's thermals that the white-tailed deer are paying attention to the most. It's not wind direction. It's not northwest winds, southwest winds, north winds, west winds, east winds, so forth and so on. It's not just merely the wind direction, where the wind's coming out of and going to. It's not really the wind that the deer are paying attention to help them smell approaching threats or danger. And it's not merely the wind direction where it's coming from and going to that the deer are winding you from. It's the thermals. They're really honed in on the thermal hubs, and where all the thermals dump all the surrounding scents and odors in their environment to where they're bedded, where they're laying down. The deer's bedding areas are almost 100% impenetrable. You almost will never be able to walk up on a bedded deer because of this, because of the thermals. The thermals are pulling in the surrounding scents and odors in their environment to where they're bedded. They're going to know you're approaching them and know you're there long before you even knew a deer was bedded there. You might stumble upon where a deer laid, but they're long gone. They've already busted out of there probably 100+ yards earlier before you, and you may not even ever heard them sneaking out of there. A mature old buck will smell you because of the thermals pulling your scent his way. He'll smell you long before you get close to him, and he may sneak on out of there, and you'll never knew that he existed, never knew that he was there. So thermals are where it's at for as far as deer smelling potential threats and danger around them. So you've got to key in on your thermal hubs in your areas, in your hunting area. You've got to really do your thorough scouting and studying of your hunting areas, and really buckle down and just know how the thermals play a big part in the deer smelling you and smelling coyotes, bobcat, a human presence, or just smelling potential threats, danger in general. You need to figure all this out in your hunting area. And so with this in mind, I'm going to share with you the first killer tree stand or tree saddle hunting setup. And so you're going to see here in just a moment me up in my saddle, my tree saddle, hanging from the tree, in the number one killer morning setup. And this is a morning only tree saddle or tree stand setup. And then I'll later on in the video share with you the killer afternoon evening tree stand or saddle hunting setup. So here I am up in the saddle, showing you just why, and explaining to you and showing you in real time just why this is a killer morning saddle tree stand setup for deer hunting. Whether or not you're bow hunting or hunting with a firearm, it don't matter. You can use these setups, this morning setup and this evening setup that I'm going to share with you later, for hunting with a rifle or during early bow season and so on and so forth. So yeah, you got to check this out.
7 o'clock. See the thermals up on the top. It kind of dips down lower to my left and a nice ridge to my right. And it's a morning set, this is only a morning spot for the reason that the rising sun, the heating of the Earth's atmosphere is pulling pulling all my scent upward, skyward. The thermals are perfect right. This is that doe was right under me. She could not pick up my scent at all. But if I sat here in the evening, if I was here on an evening set, she would have winded me all day long. Because I got that ridge. The thermals drop, obviously, as the day cools. Gets colder air sinks. Hotter, warmer air rises. So the warming of the Earth's atmosphere, as the sun comes up in the morning, it's pulling our scent upward. That cooler air at night, keeping our scent low to the ground, pulling it down, and it would have went down the ridge to my right and went down to my left. She would have winded me if it was an evening scent, but because my thermals are going up, she couldn't smell me at all. She was right there. So this is a great morning setup. My thermals are rising. I'm up on a ridge, not on the lip of it. That's because the trail that I'm expecting, the buck that I'm after to take this morning, going back to his bed in the swamp, in the low wetland swamp area. He's got a bedding here. He traditionally beds down in that really thick swampy area down below the ridge. By being up high on a morning set, the sun shining down right here, I can see the thermals rising off of the dew, the morning dew and stuff. It's pulling my scent upward. The thermals are going up, rising right here on top of this ridge. And it kind of dips down to my left, and it goes downhill to my right. I'm for a morning set. It's imperative that you're in a place where the thermals, not necessarily the wind direction, it's the thermals that the deer pay attention to 100% of the time. Thermals are what they're relying on for their survival. And so for a morning set, being on a high point, higher ground, where you know the scent thermals from below, on either side of you, on each down below, is going to pull upward. And that rising sun, the sun heating the Earth's atmosphere, is going to, the heat rises. So that heat rising and the sun coming up and the thermals coming up from the bottoms is going to pull your scent upward in the thermal. So
So why that was only a morning setup is because the thermals pulling up, but the sun was rising, heating the Earth's atmosphere. The temperature was rising, warm air rises, and the warm air was pulling my scent skyward. But in the evening, come afternoon, when the sun sets and the temperature drops and it gets colder, cold air sinks. The cold air, the thermals caused by the cooling of the Earth's atmosphere, would have pulled my scent towards where I expect the buck that I'm after to be bedded. It would have pulled my scent right to where he was bedded. He would have winded me, scented me, and he would have slipped out of there and been gone and out of my sight. I would have stand a chance at all at probably getting him with my bow. So an afternoon, evening tree stand or tree saddle set up for bow hunting or hunting with a firearm, it doesn't matter, would be honing in on a drainage, real steep, deep draw drainage ditch. So you've got to find in your hunting areas the ridges, the ridge lines or the plateaus formed by hills and ridges, and look at your Onyx app or whatever mapping app you use, or go out, put boot leather on the ground and get out there in the woods scouting and walk your hunting area and learn where all these little drainage ditches are, these real steep sloped drainage ditches, these draws that go to lower elevation. The heads of these draws, the heads of these drainage ditches are your tree stand or saddle hunting setup. And why that is, and this is for evening, afternoon hunting only. This is a great setup for afternoons, evenings, because the fallen thermals, the cooling of the Earth's atmosphere, the cooler temperature, cold air is going to pull your thermals and you're sent right into that drainage ditch, into that draw where the deer will not travel. The deer may come up from the lower elevations, up the one side or the other, or they could come from the deeper timber towards the head of this draw, and they'll come to this point, this area, this like pinch point bottleneck area, and they'll, instead of going down through this draw, they'll turn left or right. For the most part, at the heads of these drainage and these draws off of the ridges, there's usually crisscrossing trails. There's an intersection of deer trails leading to the heads of these draws. There's trails going down the left side and right sides of these draws, and trails coming from the woods further in towards the heads of this draw, and there's trails coming in left and right. There's all kinds of deer trails, all usually leading right to the heads of these drainage ditches and draws. And these are great spots to hang a tree stand or to get up into a tree with your saddle and bow hunt, or hunt with your rifle during rifle season, or hunt with your bow during bow season, wherever it is that you're from, whatever region or parts of the United States where you do deer hunting. And now, obviously, I didn't go over entry and exit and how you can avoid alerting, alarming, and busting deer approaching these stand setups. But that's going to be in another video. Maybe the next upload on my Spike Skills YouTube channel will be about how you can enter a stand setup and exit a stand setup without alerting and alarming, spooking deer, so the deer don't know you exist. So that target buck that you're after isn't going to smell you if your thermals are being pulled right into that drainage ditch and that draw. He could come from left to right, from behind you towards your stand or saddle setup, and your scent, and you could be confident knowing your scent's being pulled, thermals are pulling your scent down into that deep draw, deep drainage towards lower elevation. And you could very well shoot your target buck or a big buck. And so there you have it, a great morning tree stand saddle hunting setup, or a great afternoon, evening stand saddle setup for whether for bow hunting or hunting with a firearm. Doesn't matter. And so I hope that this video was extremely helpful for you, so that you can go and harvest your target buck this fall. Now, I'm not saying that you'll never ever alert a deer entering an accident. It could happen, it's very possible, but I'll go over in further detail, because from all the podcasts I've listened to and the research and studying I've done up through the years, I've learned how to properly enter and exit stand sites without alerting any deer, without letting the deer know that I exist, that that they're or without letting the deer know that they're being hunted, or not letting the deer know that there's human disturbance presence nearby. So that'll be in the next video, next upload on my Spike Skills YouTube channel. So I hope you've learned something here, a thing or two here today in this video that will help you go be successful this fall and fill in some deer tags. So if this video was helpful to you in any way, shape, or form, could you smash that like button for me before you go? And subscribe if you're not already to Spike Skills YouTube channel. Definitely click the notification bell so you'll be notified of all future uploads. And my 2 books, Wild Maine Outdoors, Hunting Tactics, Tricks, and Secrets, and The Sit Spot, Discovering the Forest Near You. The PayPal links to order any one of those 2 books are in the descriptions below all my videos. So that's Wild Maine Outdoors, Hunting Tactics, Tricks, and Secrets, and The Sit Spot, Discovering the Forest Near You. You can go in the description and click on any one of those PayPal links to order any one of those 2 books, or both books for that matter. And the shopping icon below my videos, you can click on that to browse my long sleeve tees, or my hoodies, t-shirts, my Spikes and Gills shirts and hoodies. And the long sleeve tees have the larger logo in the back and the left chest logo print. So definitely click on the shopping icon to browse my Spikes and Gills shirts and hoodies and such. So, and there's a winter beanie, I believe, for sale. If you were to go into the Teespring, into my store, my Spikes and Gills store on Teespring, there's a hat. I've got a winter hat available. Got long sleeve tees, short sleeve tees, and hoodies, all different types, zipper up, pull over hoodies, and zipper type hoodies. So check out the shopping icon below my videos, and definitely go to my description and click on the PayPal links for Wild Maine Outdoors, Hunting Tactics, Tricks, and Secrets, and my other book, The Sit Spot, Discovering the Forest Near You. I greatly appreciate the support. Follow everybody. Definitely smash that like button before you go, and subscribe if you're not already. I greatly appreciate it. All right, everybody. See you in the next video.